The Locky Trinity falls to 3-6 after poor performances from Bruna Brasil and Chris Gutierrez, and I think no matter who I subbed them in for, I probably would have ended up losing that parlay anyway. Not the start I wanted to in the first 9 Locky Trinities since I've dropped this for you guys, but we're still only down about 2 units if you put 1 unit per parlay thus far, and I'm hoping to turn things around with this weekend's UFC Vegas 71 Locky Trinity for you guys. Just a reminder, LFA 157 or 156, I feel like it's 157, goes down tomorrow, and I'll have all the breakdowns for you guys on the Patreon, link in the description below, as well as all the breakdowns first for Bellator. The podcast will be following very shortly, but if you guys want to get early access to those breakdowns, you can find it on the Patreon, link in the description below. And oh wait, don't forget, the 3 best prop bets drops tomorrow as well, free on the YouTube page, so keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, without further ado, let's get into the Locky Trinity for this week. And a little bit chalky this week, but we got to get on the board, and I feel like these 3 fighters will be able to come through for us to get back in the win column. First and foremost, we're going to go with Francis Marshall, and he's coming in around that minus 205 range as of this recording. A 7-0 prospect with a ton of potential, training under the great Kurt Pellegrino. The guy looks like he has all the tools to go out there and be a very bright prospect, which he already is in my opinion, and possibly even find his way in the top 15 with a little bit more grooming and a little bit more experience. He has a somewhat rudimentary striking game in the fact that he's not a crazy prolific striker by any means, but he's very good in terms of going out there, throwing his 1-2 down the pipe and putting on some good power as well, just as he showcased in his UFC debut against Marcelo Rojo back at the back end of last year. A great performance there for him, where he showed off his grappling in the first round and eventually his big power in the second round, knocking out Rojo to win his UFC debut. He's a solid all-around fighter, but I'd say his best trait about him is his wrestling. His ability to get fighters to the ground, grind them out from that top position, or use some big ground and pound where he can end up finishing them from on top as well. His opponent, William Gomez, this weekend comes into his second UFC bout similar to his opponent, off of a victory in their UFC debut, where he used a grapple-heavy approach to take down his opponent and grind him out over 15 minutes. However, I think the skill difference that he's about to realize between what he's been facing in the European scene and what he's going to be facing over here in North America is going to be completely different, especially in the grappling realm. Normally in the European MMA scene, we don't see many very strong grapplers. There are the exceptions, like the Brett Johns and the Jake Hadleys and even the Jack Shores. But when they come over to the US, you see them start to struggle with these guys who have come up in the wrestling realm, whether it's through high school or through college. And I believe that's the issue that Gomez is going to fall into with Francis Marshall. Gomez might have a slight striking advantage because of his Sanda background, but I don't think it's going to be so much to the point that Marshall won't be able to close the distance, drag this to the ground, and grind his opponent out. So I'm going to go Francis Marshall as the first leg of the Locky Trinity. Second leg, getting a little chalky with it, but I feel pretty damn good about it. We got Yasmine Lucindo around that minus 350 range right now. I believe that she's going to have her way with Brogan Walker, with her ability to take this fight to the ground and smash her from on top. Watching her last fight against Yasmine Yaragui, you wouldn't assume that she has a strong top game, but if you watch her plethora of tape on the regional scene, she's able to ground her opponents and do good work from on top. It seemed like she got caught up in having a war and having an entertaining fight with Yasmine Yaragui, who was just a crisper striker that night and was able to, I believe it was like 88 to 66 in terms of significant strikes, and we only got 2 takedown attempts from Lucindo. However, I believe that she's going to showcase a little bit more toughness, a little bit more grit this time around, throw some big bombs, close that distance, drag Walker to the ground, and show her a good time from that top position. So we got Lucindo as the second leg of the parlay. And to close it out, we're going to go with King Bobby Green, who comes in around that minus 260 range as of this recording. He's far superior in the striking realm in this matchup against Jared Gordon. I've been a big Jared Gordon guy and fan in the past, but I believe that this is a bad matchup for him. I think his inability to be able to drag this fight to the ground, which is where he'll likely have success, will make him a victim to the striking advantage that Bobby Green has in this matchup. With striking and speed on the side of Bobby Green here, I expect a a classic Bobby Green performance where he probably even gets into the 3 digits of significant strikes if this fight ends up going the full 15 minutes. Gordon might have some success pushing him up against the cage, a little bit of control time, but I think the vast majority of striking success and damage success is going to come from the Bobby Green side. So give me King Bobby Green to close out the Locky Trinity parlay. When I dropped it earlier this week on Tuesday for the Patreon folks, you get another perk for anybody hopping on the Patreon. You get the Locky Trinity on Tuesday, and more often than not, you end up with better odds locking it on Tuesday compared to dropping it and locking it in on Thursday. And that's the issue, or not issue, that's the case this weekend. We got plus 174 back on Tuesday. As of this recording, I can get plus 164. So not, too far off, but you can scrape a little extra profit if you get in on the Locky Trinity a little bit earlier. But first and foremost, we got to get into the profit of the overall Locky Trinity record. So there you guys go. Once again, I'll just go over it for you guys. Francis Marshall, Yasmine, Lucindo, and Bobby Green. Plus 174 is what I got. Plus 164 is what is on the market right now. Appreciate you guys checking out this episode as always, or segment I should call it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the 3 best prop bets. Peace.